This is probably the scariest thing to happen to me there. Be me earlier in high school. Didn't have a room per se, but slept in the guest room at the very front of the house. Literally the oldest part of the house and also the least renovated. There's some big bay windows in the bedroom that show a pretty view of some mountains. Noises wake me up. What sounds like a dozen whispers are coming from everywhere around the room. I look out the window and see that the sun has lit up the edge of the sky, but the mountain is blocking any of the actual light from hitting the house. First thing I think is that I'm dreaming, so I pinch myself. Don't wake up. I try to jerk my leg down so that it feels like I'm falling. Still don't wake up. Force my eyes close and open them hard. Still there with the whispers. Absolute dread fills me when I realize what's happening. Try to listen to what the voices are saying. Literally a jumble of sounds and random words thrown together. Voices sound youngish and I can hear both male and female. Slowly stretch my arm back and knock on the wall to wake my parents up in the next room. Do it again. They don't wake up. Finally I get the courage to ask who's there. Whispers start to sound angry, and the words that I can make out are all insults. Start to shit my pants, I fucked up big time. I look over to the other side of the bed for the first time since this started to happen. Absolutely dark shadow fella is lying there. For whatever reason, my brain somehow tells me that this is one of my parents who woke up early and came to lie down with me before morning. Immediately grab its arm to wake them up. Arm feels cold. Not ice cold, but kind of like those heavy black slate tables they have in high school science labs. Realize that's not one of my parents. Another arm reached back and grabs my arm too. As soon as I feel the other hand, it's like I snap awake from a dream in the same bed, only for some reason I was in the Dracula pose. The sun has also come up from over the mountain, so I finally had some light. Start to actually think it's a dream. Except the part of the bed the shadow guy was sleeping on is messed up. Also find the pinch marks I made trying to wake up later that morning. Last time I slept in that bedroom, moved back into the new room from them until we moved out. I found out my mother also claimed she was attacked by an evil dark force once when she slept in that room. I had to hold myself back from warning the lady moving in not to sleep in there, but my parents said I shouldn't talk about ghosts while they were selling the house. Just finished this entire thread contemplating telling my own personal spook, but not quite sure if it fits because I was under the influence of cannabis and might have just been my mind fucking with my while attaching to the fucky wucky smoky smokes. I'm going to do it anyways to get some anons to share some US and opinions if you do so much as to want to. I just want a better perspective on what this is might be. I first have to give a little backstory. Be me. 19. Just moved out and into a city because I didn't want to be in a tiny rural village, Alberta, Canada. I'm adopted. I hated my mom, she was horrible in my eyes, and my peers and school staff around me agreed. When I was 8 I contemplated suicide and almost stabbed a knife into my chest just from 2 years of living with this bitch. She was just awful, she was in and out of the hospital because of her eating problem that resulted from her inability to make change in her life and putting the blame on others. I had to take care of her pretty much since my adoption. Having ADHD and past shit from the agency and system didn't help. I often felt hopeless, and everyone around me saw, but were unable to do anything. She was very controlling, and if she didn't get her way, or if I spoke up and started winning she would scream louder over me, and my life would then become more unbearable. My relief when the Dr. Pepper and cheeseburgers finally answered my prayers. Restanpistabatha.jpg forgot about the bitch, because life is good now, and I'm pretty much zooming to make up for lost time. Managed to make up for 10 years of lost experiences due to being a household nurse in 2 years. Might be time to move out and do more cool ass life shit. I was smoking weed chronically at this point just for funs. Would light up before bed. Started hearing someone talking to me while ablaze. I noticed I would start to twitch, then it felt like someone was poking me, and then it would turn to hitting and shoving. It seemed like my own thoughts would trigger whatever this was. Especially when I decided to say fuck my mom in my head, and then it would proceed to get way worse. A fuckno.jar. Oftentimes pass out, because I was forced into the fetal position from my own muscles and they would tense up into extreme pain, and I would pass out. A few nights later I just chalked it all up to me being a stupid stoner, and the weed is the issue is not real. Trying to sleep couldn't, because Ronald McDonald's biggest fan is trying to cancel me. Start hearing footsteps go past me, I'm on the couch because it fell saff. Start hearing crying in tandem, feel someone with their arms on me with their head down on my as well. Lescheburger person crying for some reason. Start cussing her out in my head and asking why she did what she did, then turns into her doing the usual poking shit with shoving. I then start actually speaking aloud. After a bit she submits to the points I have been making, and I notice my heart is beating TF out of my chest, and I feel really super emotional. She's still crying, and she's tugging on me almost like she's begging. Ask her if I need to call 911. I have been smoking since I was 8, energy drinks since 13. Weekly all-nighters for over a year plus. Mary Jane is the reason for this. Keep asking, she keeps rising in urgency. Fuck it, not going to fuck around if my dead mom is telling me to call 911. At the end of it, I was perfectly healthy according to the professionals who checked me out. I was just recommended to stay in psychiatric for 3 days, so I did. Was I just tweaking out, or was this something else? I have rounded to the conclusion I was just so out of it, like I needed to find copper, or else the back alley dragon on 5th was going to eat my dick, but it still seems like there is something else to it. Bumping W, a story of my own. Be me, few years ago. Going to a boarding school in Vermont for a semester, Milton Mountain School, look it up. School is big on nature and giving students an education while making them do farm shit. Big part of their program is something called solo, which is training you to spend 3 days alone in a woods. Solo comes and I'm excited to be spending some time with myself and testing if I can survive in the forest. Bring guitar with me like a tard cause think I will be bored, makes hike to camping spot agony. Start setting up camp, about a mile radius of forest belonging to each student, second to last to get to their spot. First day and night uneventful, jack off and jizz in forest cause I can, wake up at 2 a.m. and can't sleep, stay up. Second day also whatever, boredom starting to settle in. Nightfall comes, pitch black cause clouds covering moon, can't sleep. Decide to start playing guitar, walk a couple yards over to a creek with my flashlight that was serving as our water source, and sit on a rock and begin to play. Chill for a while, start playing Girl from Ipanema. A couple of moments into the song, someone in the distance whistles the melody. Stop playing, dead silence, forest making no noise. Whistling keeps going, finishes song. Sweating bullets and shitting bricks. Don't want to make noise going back to camp, but too many stick and leaves on ground. Sit still on rock for hours until finally sun comes up. Sprint back to campsite. Final day, high alert, nothing happens, pack up my stuff and meet W group to go back around 3 p.m. Ask the campers next to me if they heard me playing and whistled along. They say no, mention it to staff, look concerned but say it could have been a bird. We were in rural Vermont, some 15 to 20 miles into a national forest with no cabins or nearby roads. I doubt a bird knows Frank Sinatra. Who was whistle? Apologies if this is shit, never done a green text before. This is the story of the one and only time I have been truly terrified. Be me, 18. Never had problems with sleep paralysis. Insomnia is pretty consistent but nothing groundbreaking. Go to sleep like normal. For context, my room has 2 doors, one at the head and one at the foot of my bed. Have a series of nightmares, which is uncommon considering I damn near never sleep through the night. Can't remember most of the dreams but one. I'm in an empty city. One other person other than me. It is the man from the Have You Seen This Man picture. Just stands there smiling at me. Shit freaked me out for some reason to wake me up. Wake up. Can't move, fuck. All of the sudden the door at the foot of my bed opens and in walks a woman smoking a cigarette. WTF.JPG, she stands there staring me in the eyes. No fucking clue who she is or why she is there. Manage to get out the words, get out. The woman looks annoyed and flicks her cigarette at my face. She turns and walks out, closing the door behind her. As soon as the door closes I can move again. Get out of bed, because at this point I'm drenched in sweat and need to change. I put on fresh clothes and walked outside to smoke a cigarette to calm my nerves. To this day, have never seen this woman again and don't know what made her want to watch me. Whether she was a ghost living in my house or a relative visiting me in my sleep, I have no clue. This whole string of events had me so freaked out at the time I didn't sleep the rest of the night. I have been reluctant to tell this story because even though I know what I saw, I doubt people would believe me that it's true. I need some help with my tulpa progress. Be me, 16, 24 now. Make tulpa, go through all the motions of creation, and actively meditate through the process an hour each day for about 3 months. Very little progress, no words or signs of sentience, maybe light emotions emit from her. Give up, meditate one last time to put her into stasis, but I promise her I'll wake her back up one day. Think about her every once in a while, considering how far I might have gotten if I didn't just stop. Oh well. Fast forward to a year ago, 23 here, so 7 years ahead. Get back into wanting my tulpa to be sentient. Wake up. Wake up. I do it all again, not starting from scratch, but I start from the beginning. I can't visualize for shit, so I focus on more just a raw voice in my head, me, idea of her. This isn't going even half as well as last time, no vague alien emotions or feelings of any sort. Whatever, keep doing it an hour every day for another few months. Have a total of like 2 or 3 instances where I hear a thought that may not have been my own. One time have an alien emotion of deep sadness when talking to her about how I don't think anything's working. Proof. It's real. Continue, but I'm still not getting anywhere. I decided to take the main focus off of her to meditate mostly on just visualization, maybe seeing her when I meditate would help a lot. Start off not able to see shit, fast forward 6 months still can't really see shit, but it's a little better, I still keep her in mind BTW, it's just mostly focused on visualizing. Again, not really get anywhere. Anyone have any suggestions? I think I might just be a hylic, but I really want her to work out. I'm not putting her in stasis again, but I'm just not getting anywhere. Hi, so I've already posted this story before, and it actually got featured on YouTube, which was pretty cool, but as I was watching the video about it the other day and taking a trip down memory lane, I realize just how trash my formatting and storytelling was. So I've decided to redo the entire story with an added bonus to the absolute best of my memory in what is hopefully a much better, more descriptive format. Everything I'm about to say is the truth to the absolute extent of my knowledge, but keep in mind this has all been happening over the course of 5 to 6 years and I'm running purely off memory and my piss-poor archive on the Chas YouTube channel. Also, I'm not trying to say that the entity doing this is a skinwalker, I just can't think of anything else to put. Enjoy. Be me. Live on farm with parents out in Harnett County, North Carolina. Have some horses and 2 donkeys, but nothing special. House is about 1,000 feet off the road and nearly surrounded by trees on 3 sides. There are little alleyways between the backyard of the house and the fields, one of which is a garden. Story starts a while back when one night I'm out walking my small dog named Emma. I'm kneeling in the grass beating leaves with a stick as you do when all of a sudden both me and my dog hear the crackling of leaves coming from the forest in the alleyway. We both stop and listen for a few seconds. When suddenly my dog starts whimpering and I promptly decide to gfo while I still have my skin and bones attached to my body. A few years later I'm walking through the grass around our old collapsed barn when all of a sudden all the crickets, grasshoppers, bugs, and birds just stop. I notice this and take a few steps back. Everything starts again. So I walk forward. Everything stops. I continue to do this 3 or 4 more times till eventually I just run back inside. I've never been able to replicate this to this day. Just saw this thread, posted this story in the Urban Legends thread, but figured it fits here too. Be me, live in ghetto near a park. 5 years ago a girl and her boyfriend murdered the boyfriend's ex in the park. Stabbed, beat, and burnt alive in the creek that runs through the park. All over news, will include article. Anyways, people pretty freaked out by creek after that. Kids in neighborhood keep saying that there's a woman in the creek who tells them she's hurt and to go get help. When they come back with someone, woman is gone, no trace. Kids make an urban legend, say that if you go to the park at midnight and sit by creek, the woman will appear and scare you. Bored, about 3 years after the murder, smoking weed with friends one night at park. Decide to go to creek and fuck around, ghosts aren't real. Go down with pipes and weed. Begin to spark up, suddenly all of us feel sick and heavy. Hard to stand, feel dizzy, we stumble back up thinking maybe gas leak or some poison. In the air, who knows? Hear a very loud scream come from creek once we're above. Run and look down into creek, shine phone flashlights. Nothing. Shit bricks collectively, run home. https://www.google.com/amp/s/san francisco.glosal.com/2021/05/036/guilty-verdict-of-alameda County Sheriff's Explorer Carla Ramirez %3 femp. That's the article. Looking back on it now, probably a crackhead who screamed that night, but spooky nonetheless. Also pretty cool to think that urban legends are still being made. It's a human trait to make ghost stories, I guess. Be me, live in ghetto near a park. 5 years ago a girl and her boyfriend murdered the boyfriend's ex in the park. Stabbed, beat, and burnt alive in the creek that runs through the park. All over news, will include article. Anyways, people pretty freaked out by creek now. Kids in neighborhood keep saying that there's a woman in the creek who tells them she's hurt and to go get help. When they come back with someone, woman is gone, no trace. Kids make an urban legend, say that if you go to the park at midnight and sit by creek, the woman will appear and scare you. Bored, about 3 years after the murder, smoking weed with friends one night at park. Decide to go to creek and fuck around, ghosts aren't real. Go down with pipes and weed. Begin to spark up, suddenly all of us feel sick and heavy. Hard to stand, feel dizzy, we stumble back up thinking maybe gas leak or some poison in the air, who knows. Hear a very loud scream come from creek once we're above. Run and look down into creek. Shine phone flashlights. Nothing. Shit bricks collectively, run home. https://www.google.com/amp/s/san francisco.glosal.com/2021/05/036/guilty-verdict-of-alameda County Sheriff's Explorer Carla Ramirez %3 femp. That's the article. Looking back on it now, probably a crackhead who screamed that night, but spooky nonetheless. Also pretty cool to think that urban legends are still being made. It's a human trait to make ghost stories, I guess. Spiritual experiences on psychedelics. I think I met God. This was a being made of light that radiated in front of me and embraced me with this feeling of comfort and safety. This is how I recall it. Be me 21, about to take 301/4 g of LSD. About to smoke a DMT vape. 1 hour in, decide to take a shower. I smoke the vape while inside the shower for maximum effect. I sit down and watch as a translucent cross forms in front of me. Synesthesia begins making the sounds create colors in front of me. I focus on my shower head, which becomes like an eye looking back at me. Whoosh. An angelic entity appears in front of me. The entity says my name, Philip. Olha pra baixo, which means look down in Portuguese. It wraps its arms around me as I put my head down, and it envelops me in a bright yellow light. The entity looks like God's torso and legs, I can't make out a face. It has a green sash and white robes, with massive arms and legs made of burning magnesium. It shows me that God will deliver me from my problem with drugs by showing me a green field where I am seated on grass and am being hugged by my family. I am shown a small apparition of heaven where everyone on the other side is enjoying a barbecue with all of my friends and family. I'm utterly amazed. Come home, says the entity. I can't, I reply. Why, it asks. I can't, I say again. It is implying that I have an attachment to a girl I like and that is holding me back from going home back to heaven. I'm thinking this entity literally wants to take me to heaven, and a massive gate is now in front of me made of dark wood with a pearl accent. This door opens up and an angel flies down and opens up my chest like a door and gives me a new beating heart, and a heavenly voice whispers, thanks, my son. The entity continues to pat my back with its massive white hands and shoves me in through its legs through the gate, filling me with euphoria. PT2 tomorrow.